Way back in May, we had a huge Walmart listing that gave us a strong indication of everything that was going to be part of the Transformers War for Cybertron Netflix Earthrise set. They talked about Bumblebee, Quintesson, Wheeljack, Impactor, Red Alert, Barricade, Elita 1. Some of those were new to us. We didn't know what Elita was going to be yet at that point. Hey, Wheeljack, is it just going to be a repaint? What's the story with that Bumblebee? But on top of that, there was one other listing too, and it was that of Deep Cover. And everyone's like, well, that's going to be the Sideswipe repaint. And the Earthrise line came, and Deep Cover was absent from it. So the speculation was for a while that he was going to be part of probably a Hasbro Pulse Generation Selects kind of exclusive thing. Well, today we got a leak. This one comes courtesy of the online retailer Rogue Toys. They got an image of a Generation Selects product. You could clearly see the box behind it. And it is that of Deep Cover. Now, for people who aren't familiar with who Deep Cover was, way back in the day when eHobby was doing all kinds of crazy repaints of the reissue Generation 1 toys, they were making a whole bunch of new characters to add to your Generation 1 history and lore. And they had a 2-pack that was a character called Deep Cover and another one called Clampdown. And both of these were repaints of the Lambor / Sideswipe mold / Red Alert mold. And he was a black repaint with some blue accents. Picture G2 Sideswipe, but instead of the red, it's blue. And he looked pretty cool. He had a really cool power. For a lot of people in his lore, his power was that he could shrink down and grow, and he could shrink down to 1/40th scale, which is amazing because 1/40th scale is exactly what the original 1984 Diaclone Microman kind of scale was. So technically, if you own the original Deep Cover toy, that's actually how big he was in real life. It's an actual 1/1 scale Transformer. So pretty cool. I guess you could apply the same kind of logic to this one here too, if he still has the same power. Now, that being said, another funny thing about this character was out of all the Lambor, Sideswipe, Countach molds, he's the only one that did not get an official Masterpiece release. Clampdown got one, Tiger Tracks, the whole 9 yards. Of course, obviously Red Alert and every version of Sideswipe imaginable, but he didn't get one, which is very, very, very fascinating. So this is good news because I really like his design. I love like his colors and everything. So it's going to be unexpected, a repaint of the Siege mold. Now, what I like about this is they really caught every fine detail of the original Japanese 2003 eHobby version. So we only have the robot mode here, and you could see like it still has the tampograph of the Autobot logo on the chest. It has the little smaller like police kind of logo, where normally the Lamborghini logo would be right there too. Same thing, it has like the same kind of lines for the color decos of the tampograph of the headlights. Nice little details there, nice homage to the original there. Even like the red on the shins of his legs and stuff, the V that was on his crotch piece. All really cool. All that we can't see, that because we can't see the robot mode, but he also had his little like police emblem kind of stuff on the left and right of his Countach doors. But I'm pretty sure they're going to be present. If they made the effort with all this other stuff, it's probably going to be there too. I'm going to include with this segment a picture of a custom that was done by AMD 98. He did a custom of his own interpretation of what Deep Cover would have looked like. He did this like I think a year ago, and it'll give you a pretty good idea of how this thing would look in black, and it looks spectacular. Looks really good. Deep Cover is one of those more interesting expanded lore characters of the Generation 1 world, and him getting a, I guess in this case it's probably going to be a Hasbro Select kind of thing. Looks pretty cool. I dig it a lot. Generation Select. It looks pretty cool. And considering how difficult, number one, his original eHobby toy was to get, how he didn't get a Masterpiece toy on top of that, so if you wanted a version of that character, that didn't exist. This is some pretty good stuff, and when it hits, whenever it does hit, I would heavily suggest picking it up if you're interested. It looks really cool. We're probably going to see an official statement about this at some point. But I really dig it. I really dig it a lot. Hopefully we'll get some more images in the near future. But here it is. We got deep cover, so now at least that is kind of taken care of at the time being. Just a reminder for anyone who's listening to this, tomorrow we do have a stream Saturday, so be sure to check that out, and we'll talk about more Transformers.